Let's dive right in, shall we? Today we're unpacking a truly profound personal text. It's all about navigating the sheer, utter chaos of life by building what the author calls an absolutely unstoppable routine. We're looking at a deeply raw personal reflection from someone who has faced a literal barrage of negativity, but somehow found a way to become virtually unbreakable. It's honestly a masterclass in shifting your mindset. And the way we're going to break it down today in this explainer is going to give you a real blueprint for building your own internal armor.
But before we get into the author's specific strategy, I want you to ask yourself something. How do you personally navigate continuous sleepless nights? What happens when you're faced with betrayal or when deliberate obstacles are thrown your way by people who genuinely actually want to see you fail? We've all felt the weight of those daily struggles, right? It's completely exhausting. It's exactly the kind of pressure that can easily break a person down. But as you'll see, our source text reveals a completely different reaction to this exact kind of pressure.
It all begins with a simple, incredibly bold foundation: God do all. Now, this isn't just a passing thought, it's the absolute core spiritual anchor of our source material. By establishing that a higher power is responsible for literally everything, the author sets up this concept of radical, total acceptance. Think about it. If everything ultimately comes from one supreme source, then the whole way we categorize things as good or bad starts to fundamentally change. Let's look at how the author applies this to their darkest moments.
Okay, moving to Section 1, the weight of the struggle, facing sleepless nights and betrayal. The text doesn't shy away from the pain at all. It acknowledges the turbulence right from the start.
There's a fascinating dynamic at play here. On one side, you have the external reality, the betrayal, the deliberate obstacles sent by those who want to see you down. But right up against that, you have the internal response, which is simply doing the best you can with all you have to make it through. It's such a powerful representation of external negativity hitting an absolute brick wall of internal, resilient drive. You can't control the obstacles thrown your way, sure, but you have absolute authority over your own response.
And despite all that pain, the author writes this absolute gem. Still, I let none of all that meaningful in any part of my life. Just think about the sheer willpower behind that conscious choice. They are literally stripping all the power away from negative forces. The obstacles are there, no doubt about it, but the author refuses to assign them any meaning. They absolutely refuse to let the negativity write the story of their life. It's a real game changer.
Which brings us to Section 2, embracing radical acceptance and reframing good and bad wishes. Let's look at a profound cognitive shift the author makes regarding those external forces. So the philosophy here is totally radical. Any wish they get from the world, good or bad, they take it all as one. They accept it all as equal blessings. Now, why would they do that? Because they hold on to the belief that every single day is already declared a blessing from the almighty power. This power, the text notes, stems from the very creature of nature's existence itself. When you view the world through this lens of divine resilience, an insult and a compliment hold the exact same weight. They are both just manifestations of a day that is already inherently blessed.
All right, Section 3, Nature and the Unstoppable Routine. The best of the day is just this moment. Because when you accept everything, your relationship with time completely changes. And to the author, it is always the same part.
Let's put this into perspective. You start the day at midnight, perhaps deep in the struggle, navigating those sleepless nights. But the author realizes the best of the day is just this moment, and the best shift to the next moment as the clock ticks round, and that's how the day ends. The ticking clock isn't some terrifying countdown of anxiety. It's just a natural progression of moments that you are meeting with pure acceptance. So, regardless of what external forces try to tear you down, you move seamlessly from struggle to peace. The author describes this state as staying grounded steadily and unpredictably, just as pure as nature. I absolutely love this phrasing. It really hits the nail on the head. True groundedness isn't a rigid, inflexible brick wall. It mimics nature. Think about a giant oak tree, right? It's deeply rooted and steady, but its branches move unpredictably with the wind. The author is basically telling us to hold our ground, but remain fluid and natural in how we deal with the chaotic elements of life. Moving into Section 4, Leading with Peace and Love, the Daily Frontline Routine. Let's see what this mindset actually looks like in practical, everyday action. So, to maintain this incredible momentum, you first stay grounded as nature, which we just explored. Then comes the real magic. Step 2, putting peace and love on the front line as your first line of defense. When betrayal and obstacles come at the author, their frontline troops, so to speak, are simply peace and love. And finally, step 3, you make passion a priority in all you do with others. Even after being betrayed, the author chooses to engage with the world through passion and connection rather than bitterness. Bringing it all together, the core message is beautifully summed up here. With peace and love, the best is a normal and unstoppable routine, always present. It becomes your default state, your ever-present defense against life's chaos. You don't have to constantly invent new ways to fight off negativity. Your routine of peace, love, and radical acceptance does all the heavy lifting for you. It's always there, always the same part of your armor.
So what does this all mean for us? I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. We've seen how the author transforms continuous struggle and betrayal into a powerful testament of divine resilience. Ask yourself right now, when the clock ticks round and your day ends, will your unstoppable routine be peace and love? Are you going to let the obstacles define you, or will you accept everything as a blessing and put your own peace on the front line? Honestly, it's a choice we all get to make, every single day. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you take a piece of this unstoppable routine into your own life.